It's amazing. We work with multiple Amazon advertising execs who work in different sectors. I work with at least three myself, as well as many of other team members. And I just met with one last week, and I was like, hey, when is, this feature being added to this account? And they don't know anything about that feature that's rolled out in other accounts in different categories. So it's amazing that what we teach them, when really they learn from us more than I feel like we learn from them. And they're not connected. Like, it's great to work with them and it's great to have someone on the inside, but then when something happens, they can move it up and send it off to somebody else, but they can't actually help the seller if their account got something went wrong.
To be clear here, we're talking about an account rep at Amazon who works in the advertising section of what's there. Yep, and they're not aware of.
Well, that's what I was talking about. Like, Amazon's a huge organization. Like, advertising is one big, huge business unit for them, and retail is another big, huge business unit. But the advertising people have probably never logged into Seller Central and seen any of the other screens besides the advertising screen in Seller Central.
Yeah.
So and they have no ability to click on and do anything there. They have to contact somebody in the entirely different division of the company to do anything.
So yeah, they operate as totally separate business units, which is why and it shows in their data.
Yeah. They're totally separate. So Alexi, I do have one other question for you. My question is this. So we got a lot of insight from Jordan. We talked to Brandon about the idea of the data guru side of where do you compare all of that? I want to hear it from an agency. There are a lot of good people out there who are helping Amazon sellers on advertising inside of Seller Labs and outside, right? There's lots of good agencies out there that are helping Amazon sellers. What does it do for you when the Amazon data is wrong like that?
I guess a lack of better words, it sucks. How do you make a decision for a client with what's best for the client, to help them grow as a business when you can't guarantee that this data is right? We can take what we know and we can look at, trends in the category. And I think that's the pro with working with an agency, is they work with so many different clients and they can align with those trends better. Oh, this is happening in multiple categories, or they do another supplements cleanup where they take care, they boot a bunch of supplement clients out at the same time. And we can see those trends. I think that's the pro with working with an agency. And we have better data than what a seller is going to be able to just pull on their own. So I think it's is it going to be perfect? No, but it's Amazon. So it's never going to be perfect, but it's as close to perfect as any agent
can make it.
I mean, in some cases, the data would be in the agency's favor, right? So if we're in the example we were showing today, if you show last year was $185,000 when it was really 200, and you're showing you're comparing your year over year to what was the deflated number last year, the advertising agency looks better. But on the flip side, the data goes the opposite way just as many times, right? It makes the advertising agencies' efforts look less effective because Amazon data is skewed differently on some other report. So it just messes with all those metrics. As how are we doing? If you're not looking at it consistently, it's
Alexi, do you lose credibility when you throw Amazon data out there and you're like, hey, this is what it is, and then your client goes and checks it out and looks at it? Do they what do they usually do when they see that?
I think it is really easy to look at just that overview of month by month. And most sellers, if you explain to them the process and what reports you're downloading and show them these data discrepancies, they're going to lean on you. They're going to believe you. When we look at profitability at an ASIN level and see how much by each SKU are we spending on ads, how much are we returning, the only way to look at that is by child ASIN. So as a month on the whole, looking at your profitability is, I think, so much more important than looking at that at the SKU level than it is. Then it gives you that big picture. Then you can, if you pull that profitability every month, you've done, it's added up for you. And so that's what we look at, is that profitability as accurate as it can be.
So Alexi, you were one of our first beta customers of the data warehouse tool. We've now automated a couple of reports that you were working on and doing manually. I mean, what would you say about having a tool that makes it so that you can get any data you want inside Amazon?
I'd say it's a lot of time back. I think I've spent a lot of time manually copying and pasting things, as I've, showed you all before, especially when it comes to the ad console, because there is no way to look back farther. So that time where we can just pull a report for a client, like as they're newly onboarded, that we can backfill, get it filled out, have it to them first day that they're active, I think is so essential when it would take months and hours to manually pull that data. I think the time we get back as an agency, the time that client now has all that data, they can take it on and make business decisions based on the data. I mean, it's hours back. So I'm very grateful for as much automation as we can get while also having the human touch, is I think what sets us apart.
Beautiful.
Well, I think it's hours, but it's also like, because you're able to make the decision so much quicker right out the gate, you're not missing out on opportunities, right? Like you're taking advantage of the opportunities quicker. So ultimately that's like a benefit on the other side as well. Not only does it save you money, but it brings in more money because you're making better decisions quicker.
Obviously, there was a piece of this episode that was about helping you understand who we are at Seller Labs and why we believe we have some really powerful data, helping you understand that we've done some of that dirty work and looked at it. And some of you may have been like, wow, what a sales pitch. What we're really trying to help you understand is we understand this data and we want you to learn how to use it in the best way possible. And we've done the dirty work for you. We've compared the different pieces. We've had hundreds of people point out the different discrepancies, and we've chosen the best source possible for every data point you're seeing inside Seller Labs. That's what it boils down to.
Yeah, so we've gone back and forth and made changes on all this stuff, and this is the result of years of fine tuning and adjusting. So it's pretty good.
Beautiful.